Martin Popoff here. Welcome back to the Contrarians. I thought I'd just whack in a solo show when I have a chance here. I mean, I love these album cover shows, right? Every Wednesday you can catch a live Contrarians show. We've got Grant and Peter and Todd, and we've got Jamie with us when he's not out touring with Black and Blue, which is great having a resident rock star in this thing as well. But yeah, I always love these album cover shows. You know, I'm a big Zeppelin fan. I just thought I'd plug again. We've got my Zeppelin book, all the albums, all the songs is still available at martinpopoff.com. There's also the brand new Robert Plant panel book. So this is album by album, just a lot of Contrarians people and stuff in here. And we just go through every studio album for Robert Plant. So, I'm a big Zeppelin fan. And I thought I'd just do an album cover ranking of the Led Zeppelin albums. I think Hypnosis and Pacific Eye and Ear and all these guys who have worked on these Zeppelin album covers do a really cool job. So I'm going to go in reverse order. I'm going to include Kota in here as well. So let's get to it. Led Zeppelin 2. Led Zeppelin 2, also not really my favorite Zeppelin album. I don't think this is a particularly good album cover here. I mean, you've got where's my finger there? We got Beethoven on the cover here. We got Ringo Starr here twice. We've got Phyllis Diller, Charles Manson. But other than that, there's not much interest to this thing, especially the back. I don't think the inside's that great either. So yeah, that's my number 9. Number 8, I've got Led Zeppelin 1. So let's just go to this one as well. So this was recorded in hang on. I want to show you this first. So again, not such a great album cover. We've got the Hindenburg disaster on there. Led Zeppelin, the title, of course. This is that whole thing where John Entwistle said to Keith Moon, I'm not going off and joining Led Zeppelin. That band will crash like a lead balloon, something like that, right? So this is the theme of this. The back, they were good. They were kind of going for they were a big Babies fan, so they were kind of going for this look here, but I don't think they quite pull it off. But anyways, back cover photo there. Now this was recorded in Canada, so they used a Canadian design firm. They're recording at Toronto Sound with Jack Douglas, right? So they basically it's easy enough to just use a Canadian. This is one of those whole tax exile situations. A Canadian firm for design who had some alternate designs that didn't get used, right? So they proposed a lot of things. It's a little bit like Hypnosis later on, but of course we're back at the first album, 1969. So these are some of the things that were proposed that almost got used by the Canadian firm for the first Led Zeppelin. I think some of these would have been pretty cool covers, don't you think? What else we got here? They had this idea with the light. They said, hold the light. And Jimmy's like, no, yeah, this is kind of dumb. Because they didn't really want this evil image. Little did we know with Jimmy later, buying the foreskin house on the Scottish shores, Aleister Crowley there. We've got this one, almost went with that. Kind of cool, right? And almost went with this. So kind of say, It's For You. Imagine that, eh? If they would have took this title, right? Led Zeppelin, It's For You as the first album. Kind of weird. But anyway, so yeah, that's some stuff that the Canadian design firm came up with at the time. And actually one more. They almost went with this idea, right? Which kind of looks a little country. But that's another failed design for Led Zeppelin. Well, I don't think what they came up with was particularly hot anyways. Next one, Kota. Led Zeppelin 1 Kota, right? So we've got they've titled this like the first album because it's back to an old sort of rock and roll album for them. But this is a tribute to Cub Kota from Brownsville Station, who had recently died. Hence, again, the Led Zeppelin 1 and naming it Kota. It's got a real rock and roll feel to this album, right? With We're Gonna Groove and especially Darlene, that Can't Quit You Baby's old blues. Cub Kota loved the blues and they loved Brownsville Station, right? They covered a lot of their songs live. But yeah, Led Zeppelin 1 Kota. Other than that, doesn't really look like a tribute to one of their heroes, but there you go, kind of thing. Oh, it's got the picture of the from the record plant on the back as well, right? Pressing of the albums. And let's see. Oh yeah, that's the other thing about this one I forgot to mention. So the inner the inner gate of this, right, was Jimmy had said he wanted something like this from Deep Purple's Machine Head, right? Same kind of thing. All right, so Led Zeppelin 3. Where's my 3? Where's my 3? Got my 3 somewhere here. Oh yeah, here it is. So Led Zeppelin 3, some of the failed designs for this. So this was recorded mostly in New York. They used Andee Warhol. Andee Warhol was super famous. And the working title for this was Houses of the Holy. So he came up with this thing with all the holes in it, housed in a sort of like a little clip here thing. So this is typical fancy Andee Warhol type artwork. And this thing, oh, it's not turning right now. Anyways, you know, there's this turning thing in here they call an aquavelva, right? So yeah, that's Andee Warhol's cool design. Obviously, this is iconic. There are, you know, prints of this sell for millions of dollars. Actually, I just read a really cool Andee Warhol book called Warhol After Warhol by Richard Dorman. What? Hang on, it's across the really cool legal battle kind of Andee Warhol book. So it's cool that I'm doing this today. And failed. Well, so they had some alternate designs for this album as well. They were going to go with this sort of thing, which would be kind of cool as well. I mean, I like what they came up with. And then this was another one that they almost went with for Zeppelin 3. Okay, so what is next here? So yeah, so that was my number 6, my number 5. So we're kind of halfway here. We got 9 albums, right? Because we're including Kota as well. Led Zeppelin 4. Okay, so they didn't use the whole Houses of the Holy thing there. On Led Zeppelin 3. So they revived it again, and we've got, you know, the houses and all this sort of stuff. Another alternate title for this was Tenement Funster. So you got the tenements there, the broken down thing, and this guy's the Tenement Funster. Also, you know, this album is called Led Zeppelin 4. It's called Led Zeppelin 4 Sticks, and this, of course, is the 4 Sticks Man, right, as well. And then the whole idea with the whole Tenement Funster idea, so this was Jimmy's sort of idea for this, is that, you know, on the inner, you have this guy representing the landlord, and then down at the bottom, you've got, you know, all the poor rent payers, like this lady down at the bottom here, saying, "Oh, what do you mean you're going to raise my rent 20%, blah, blah, blah," kind of thing. And there's the homes in the background. So this guy's just like, nope, don't care, kind of thing. So yeah. And then, like I say, you know, Queen eventually used that title as well. But, you know, so Led Zeppelin, Zozo, and actually this was one of the alternate album covers that was going to use. That would have been pretty cool too. Kind of looks a little bit like the gatefold, right? So anyways, got that one there. Let's see. Number 4, I can't show. Number 4 is Houses of the Holy. You all know that album cover. It's notorious. Contrarians had a huge court case about, we flashed it once on screen, and we got demonetized, which was a huge deal to us because our numbers were massive. And it went on for a couple of years. But anyways, the moral of the story is don't show the Houses of the Holy album cover. Now, this is a famous Hypnosis album cover. Hypnosis, Aubrey Powell and Storm Thorgerson were famous for spending a lot of money on these shoots and stuff. So they went and built a whole kind of like ancient pyramid thing. And then they put these naked little kids on the cover, right? It was going to be called Led Zeppelin 5, but they kind of screwed up and they put 6 kids on the cover. So that was kind of stupid. But so, yeah, they built this huge pyramid thing, which got used again. It got used same year, Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. On the poster, you've got that pyramid. So that's the thing they built for this album cover. You get the, you know, a standard Hypnosis trope is the big use of the color tinting. So you get really nice color tinting on the cover and on the back sort of thing. With that. So that's number 4, one of my favorite Led Zeppelin album covers, definitely. You know, famously, we know that it was like the weather was really bad and it was raining, and these poor kids who were all painted up silver and all this stuff. You know, one of them's actually on the if you look at the Black Sabbath Eternal Idol cover, that's an outtake from that. And then Scorpions, of course, used an outtake from these sessions for Virgin Killer, right? But because it was like really bad weather and raining and everybody was getting soaked and stuff, they were going to call the album the Rain Song after one of the songs on it. So yeah, just a little more trivia for you. Number 3. So now we're up to my favorite 3 Led Zeppelin album covers. Presence. This is a famous Ernie Cefalu Pacific Eye and Ear design. They're recording this album in California. And the whole idea here is Peter Grant was kind of ticked off that Zeppelin never gets any awards for anything. You know, they don't sell a lot of records. People aren't coming to the shows. And basically they're shunned by, you know, critics, popular society. So they aren't getting Grammys, they aren't getting Oscars, of course, stuff like that. So Peter Grant came up with the idea, well, if Led Zeppelin isn't getting any success or accolades, why don't we come up with our own award, our own present, right? So you've got this this award here, the Zeppelin Award, and everybody's kind of like sharing it and showing it, and you know, in appreciation to Led Zeppelin finally winning something, right? And then, you know, Peter's other idea is Led Zeppelin are just they're just normal guys. You know, they never, there was no extravagance involved with this band. They were just salt of the earth guys. There was, you know, guys of the people. They were always hanging out with fans and stuff. And so Peter kind of thought, as an analogy to that as well, you know, common people, everybody, families, everybody should get awards, right? So that was sort of his idea for Led Zeppelin presence. So yeah, excellent. And you know, all of this is because they're recording in California, in Hollywood, in LA. All of this is on their mind. Ernie, of course, Pacific Eye and Ear is based in LA. And you know, they did Alice Cooper and Toys in the Attic and all that. Drew Struzan worked for them and stuff. Really cool stories behind a lot of that stuff. Okay, so moving on to number 2. My number 2 favorite Led Zeppelin album is In Through the Outdoor. No, sorry, Physical Graffiti. But as you can tell, I'm making a little joke there, of course, because this one of the working titles for this was In Through the Outdoor. So that's why you have this. And also they were thinking of because they you know, Peter always had sort of a mischievous sort of thing. So he thought, why don't we call another album Houses of the Holy? So these are houses with holes in them, right? So again, another nice Pacific Eye and Ear design. And so yeah, Houses of the Holy was one of the working titles for this as well. And again, they still hadn't used Tenement Funster for a title, so that was something that they were thinking. So all of this was in the cards for this. You know, this is my favorite Zeppelin album. You know, it's got the you know, they were always making fun of Jimmy and his tattered sweaters that he wore all the time. So it's got the sweaters suite on here as well, with Houses of the Holy, Cashmere, and In My Time of Drying, right? But yeah, my favorite Zeppelin album, absolutely. Let's see what else. Okay, so last one is my favorite Led Zeppelin album cover, and this is a Hypnosis design, right? Is In Through the Outdoor. You know, contentious Zeppelin album, obviously 1979. They're getting a little mellower and stuff. So a few things about the design of this. You know, Peter Grant was always saying Led Zeppelin is bigger than porn. So why don't we pack the album in a brown paper bag like you're getting porn delivered in your mail kind of thing, that trope, right? So that was the idea with that. And then because they were recording this album at Kingdom Sound in Long Island, right? You know, Rainbow's there. Ritchie Blackmore lives there, but they're recording Down to Earth as well. And so essentially, yeah, this is all happening in 1979. So we've got the idea. Now, you know, okay, so it's a bit of a long story, but you know, on Down to Earth, they cover Brownsville stations all night long on there. So you know, they're sitting around one day. They get together with Zeppelin. They're all commiserating over the death of Cub Kota, kind of thing. And you know that Ritchie has a bar in his castle house, right? And so they decide that we are going to essentially take shots of this album cover. Now there's 6 different views of this, right? But they decided that they're going to take the shots for the album cover in Ritchie Blackmore's basement bar. And of course, you can see they used Graham Bonnet in the shots. They used Candace Knight, and came up with kind of a really cool idea. So I think this is great. And it's a good design. Like I say, you've got the paper bag and you've got this thing with the members of Rainbow all involved in the thing. So I think that's a really cool album cover as well. So that's it. I mean, it's some really nice designs here. It's good stuff. If you let us know what you think, give us your ranking of favorite Zeppelin album covers. I think they've come up with some provocative things. A lot of these were pretty expensive. Some of this is explained in my Zeppelin book because I do interview Storm Thorgerson, or not Storm, but Aubrey Powell. And he tells some great stories about coming up with some of these album covers. But yeah, like, subscribe. Always forget to hit the like button, right? But like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And let us know in the comments what you think of this Led Zeppelin album cover ranking. And we will be back for more of our, our Wednesday album cover shows. But I thought a good solo show would be a good idea at this point. Yeah, there you go. Go listen to some Led Zeppelin.